What's up, people? It's your boy Perfection, back at part number 3. Right, so let's go through a few of the things that we've clarified so far. So we've clarified America versus UK, that America, although as racist as it is, with cops killing black people for the fun of it, and people video filming it and them still getting away, and certain areas of America where, you know, it's riddled with gangs and drugs and hookers on each corner, and all kinds of things. It's like a prison. There's certain hoods in America that's almost like a prison, and there's just no way of getting out of it. Your life is kind of predestined to be a certain way, and only, you know, one out of a few make it, and that's by selling themselves out. Even though America's like that, it's still better than you still have more of a chance of being successful in America than what you do over here in the UK. We've also established that black women support men just like a pimp. They support, just like, you know, just like prostitutes support their pimps. There's certain black women out there that are supporting guys that don't have their best interests at heart. It's as simple as that, and that can sometimes rub off onto their children. And if it does rub off onto the children, then they're not going to be business minded. We've established that. We've also established that you're not a racist, because there's probably some black people out there that have that kind of mentality, that if they support their own people, that they're being racist. Because, you know, I've come across so many black people that shock me when they talk. They're shocking to me. They're shocking to me. I think because they've been thrown, you know, what do they call it, a biscuit or whatever. Now all of a sudden, you know, there's no such thing as racism or this or that, and, you know, black people need to be stronger and grow a pair of balls, and they've got this victim mentality and all of this kind of stuff, you know. So to those black people that are out there, that it's okay for black people to support other black people. It has nothing to do with white people. It has something to do with us in this country trying to figure out a way to get at the hole that we're in, starting from the home, leading up to school, leading up to jobs and everything else. What else? We've also established that some people, you'll invest 80% in their business and they only want to invest 20% in yours. Or some of them don't even want to invest anything, period. Okay, and they're bums. And we need to quickly identify these people and push them out our lives. Okay, be careful who you bring into your business as well. Be very careful, because I think that's one thing I forgot to mention. That. Be careful who you bring into your business, because certain black people, where would I start with this? I'm someone that's very competitive. I'm a very competitive person, okay? And I used to have a lot of friends around me, a lot of them around me, and I was always competitive, but I was never jealous of them. I've never been jealous of none of my friends, period. None of them, okay? Even when I was unable to get a girl for God knows how long, and they had girls every 5 minutes, they had a new girl, I still wasn't, if it was jealousy, it wasn't jealousy in a way where I wanted to see harm to them. It wasn't jealousy in a way where I was trying to steal their girls. It might have been jealous in the way that how they were treating these women. I thought, how come you're treating these women like that, man? If I was in your situation, I'd treat them better. Probably that kind of thing. But generally, I'm not really jealous of any of my friends in any shape or form. I think I used to have a lot of people around me, and they would be, I don't know, I think when they saw other black people happy or confident, it became a threat to them. If they saw some, you know, or maybe if I was, you know, that's the only thing I can think of, really. I've had certain friends around me where they're being quite angry when I've been happy or been successful, and as Jamaicans say, they're bad-minded people. It hurt their ego. Their ego is damaged in one way or another. Okay, I've always been competitive with people, but I've never been jealous of them. I like to see people out there being successful. And one thing we need to watch out for, again, as black people, is that for some reason we want to sabotage it. If I hire another black kid, all of a sudden he starts turning up late. And when I'm saying, Jamal, man, you're late, bro. What's going on? You're 20 minutes late. He turns around and says, come on, man. I know. Come on, look. You know me, yeah? Bruv, you know me, yeah? All of a sudden now, he's, you know, he's speaking to me he's speaking to me in an informal way, and using the fact that I'm black and he's black as an excuse to be lazy, when he knows that when he went to work for John Smith, that was a white guy, he couldn't get away with the things that he was getting away with. Now he wants to start taking liberties with me, okay? So laziness comes into it where we're with each other. Envy can cause them sometimes to want to sabotage the job. You know, they're seeing you make £500 a week, and you're only paying them, say, you're paying. You may they're seeing the till take, say, 2,000. We'll say they're seeing the till take 4,000 a month. They're only getting paid £300 a week. They're angry at that. They're saying, wait a minute, you're the business owner, you're the manager, you're earning all that. That's going in your pocket, bruv, and you're only paying me £300 a week now. But yet they don't have that mentality when they're working for John Smith. They're not too concerned about whether John Smith makes 10 grand or whatever. They're happy with it. But seeing another black person earn that kind of money. So we've got a lot of coons, sellouts and bums, and you've got to be very careful not to hire these people because they're bad-minded people. So we've got to be very keen on that. And sometimes these people can be your friends. They can be friends that you've known for years. So, you know, just be careful on who you hire, and maybe go for random black people that you don't, you know, that you've never known before. You know, it can be quite dangerous when it's black and black. That's what I'm saying to you. These things happen as well. This is what prevents our businesses from becoming successful. Envy, jealousy, all those kind of things. And the fact that they think that they can be cut a little bit of slack because you're both the same color. Right. What else? So we've got through that. Right. Another thing again, like I said in the previous one. They're unprofessional when you're paying them raw money as professional workers, businessmen or whatever, services. They're unprofessional with their work. They're not turning up on time. They're lazy. They're sitting around maybe listening to their own music and having a laugh. They're not treating it in a professional way. But they would had it been John Smith. But with you now, because you're black, they want to start taking a little bit more liberties and things like that. And then when the shoe's on the other foot, when you're trying to offer your services to black people, sometimes they undermine you because of the colour of your skin. They don't want to pay you what you deserve. They think, no, I'm not going to pay this guy. And it's a subconscious thing. And the reason why I say subconscious is they're not even aware of why they're doing it. What is it that you think that I'm not going to do as a good a job as John Smith? You think John Smith's going to do a better job than I do? Is that why you'd rather go to John Smith? Like my auntie said, she'd rather go to a white doctor, have a white doctor perform surgery on her. So is it that you think the black doctor is, you know, he's not capable of doing his job? Basically, that's what you're saying, right? He's incompetent. So you think I'm incompetent, that's why you'd rather go to them. And a lot of times that's not the case. It's some kind of subconscious thing where they just don't believe in our own people, and that's why they'd rather go to the Indian man store and buy fake weave from the Indian man than buy it from the African shop or the Jamaican store that's selling weave. They'd rather buy it from the Indian guy. Okay. I'll get into overpriced as well, because I think sometimes we do as black people as overpriced, but I'll get into that in a minute. Right. Also, again, we have to raise our kids, both parents, like I said in the previous one. You got to make sure that both parents is there. We want to raise our kids to be leaders. We want to raise our kids to be readers as well. Leaders / readers. They need to do a lot more reading. Our children do not read enough. They need to read a hell of a lot more. apprenticeships as well. Get into things like construction, things like that. That seems to be a very good market. Um, Self-love, they need to have. What else have I put on there? Okay, I can't remember what the other one. Self-reliant as well. Independent. They need to be independent as well. Um, they need to get rid of this. We need to teach them to have the opposite. This any man for himself mentality. Ride or die. Get rich or die trying. Sell out any person around you to become successful is bad as men. And it's even worse when our women are promoting it. When our women are saying to those men, yeah, 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 I feel you. You feel them, yeah? You feel them. Look where our race is now. Look where we're at now. You feel them, yeah? Right. Another thing I want to talk about is that, you know, sometimes I have people come round and they do little jobs. They say, look, oh, you got a problem with your van, let me repair that. And, you know, I do give them a little something. I might give them a little change, £20, £30. And sometimes they come round to me as well. And as a personal trainer, I'll give them expert advice as a personal trainer. And sometimes people assume that because they're doing something physical or something practical, that their service is more valuable than the theory, than someone giving them something, than someone giving them advice. They think practical is better over advice. It isn't. If I've been trained to be a counsellor and I'm sitting down and counselling my friends, that's no different than you coming round and you repairing repairing my cooker or doing a bit of plumbing. It's the same thing. You come round with advice about, it could even be, I could even be a trained counsellor and you ask me about domestic violence, or how you should talk to your woman. I give you a bit of advice on that. Or I'm a personal trainer, it could be on nutrition, this and that. Some people seem to think because someone's giving me advice, it's less as important as someone doing it practical. Okay, I've helped out people in many ways in my life, and I've never once asked them for money. Okay, it's just as valuable as someone doing something practical, you know. But again, I'm only talking about little favors here. I'm talking about when someone comes around your house and they do something small. They might repair a tire on your van or something like that. I understand that. I think what I'm trying to tell people really is to appreciate certain things. Learn to appreciate certain things that people do for you. And advice, verbal advice, is just as important sometimes as practical advice. Okay, it's the same thing. And funny enough, if they went to a white man now, and this is how this ties in. If they went into a white man now, say a psychiatrist, and a psychiatrist sits them down and tells them the same thing that I may be saying, they charge £50 an hour for that, but yet they don't want to respect it when I'm giving them that advice. If they went to the doctors and the doctor said, you know, it's best for you to eat this because this is better, it's more healthy, they'll respect the doctor. They'll pay the doctor £50 an hour for that. But when I'm saying these things, they have no value. It's free and all those kind of things. So I think another thing about starting a business is learning to appreciate everything. Learn to appreciate. I might have to do another video about appreciation because I was going to do one called learn to think and appreciate. But I'm trying to fit in the whole appreciate thing. So yeah, just learn to appreciate. If you're doing a business, appreciate everything about. Just learn to say please and thank you. Because it goes a long way, especially in people wanting to help you do your business. Because some people come across as ungrateful, okay, like the world owes them something. I always say please and thank you for the most littlest of things. But that's pretty much it on the whole business thing, the black business thing. It starts with our children. That's the main important thing. You know, if they're not doing it in the home, if they're not supporting each other in the home, or they're backstabbing each other in the home, there's no way they're going to go out there and then support some other man's business. Come on, man. They're not going to do that. Whether it's working for the person or whether it's just generally walking into the store and saying, yeah, man, let me go to this black supermarket or whatever. So that's the last thing I want to say about prices. It does seem sometimes as though we want to charge a hell of a lot more than the white man, the Asian man, the Indian man. And I think that's something that we need to look over as well, because sometimes it is quantity over quality. I can sell 10 of these things in a day. I can sell 10 in a day at £100, or I can sell 50 in a day at, say, £70. You know, sometimes it's quantity over quality sometimes. You know, and in regards to black businesses, a lot of them, why I haven't supported them is because a lot of times I just couldn't afford to support them, whereas we know other races can. And this is what I try to make out to this woman as well. In the beginning, I described about a woman, right, about a black woman that had this life insurance policy, and she was saying that her son, which was a rapper, was trying to get dancers and all of that, and white people chose to help her son instead. I don't know in regards to free help, but I do know in regards to like food shops and buying things, and white people have more money. So it's not a case where black people are cheapskates, it's just the fact that they just don't have the money. And maybe we've been suppressed for such a long time that we've subconsciously become cheapskates and not even aware of it. So maybe there are some people out there that even when they do have a million, they're still walking into a black store and trying to get something at half price when they would pay the white man full price. But again, that's something that we need to check ourselves for. I think some of us we've been poor for such a long time. We've been, you know, in bondage for such a long time that we don't want to let go of that. Whereas white people haven't; they've never been in bondage. So it's easy for them to walk into a store and pay £20, £30. Plus, it's easy for them to get employed. They don't have the same chains that are holding us back. So women need to understand that as well, and black men need to understand it as well. Is that sometimes it's not a case where a white man is more generous. They don't have as it's easy for them to make an income than what it is for us. Okay, but I'm not excusing all black people. Again, there's bums out there that are just strictly for themselves. Okay, thank you for watching my videos. I hope this has helped you a little bit about businesses and about how we need to support each other. Think about what I'm saying. Appreciate. The word is appreciate. Appreciate everything. I have a friend of mine that earns a substantial amount of money. She is Caucasian, and please, thank you. Everything is a please and thank you. Everything's a please and thank you. And she's earning she don't have to be that way because she's earning, you know, a nice amount of money or this or that, but that's just standard. So when I see these black people that things aren't going too well for them in life, and you know, you're giving them something to eat and they're like, yeah man, and all of that kind of stuff, you think to yourself, you're not making things any better for yourself by being that way. Okay, one of the first values that should be taught to you is please and thank you. Learn to appreciate things, and when you're building a business, you have to be the same way. Okay, anyway, apart from that, yeah, the last thing I'll say is, as you know anyway, most businesses, they say that in the beginning you have to be willing to put 20 hours a day into them. You know, you have to be willing to do not 20-hour day, but like 16-hour days for say 2-3 years to get your business up and running. You may even be like in the minus, in the deficit in the beginning, struggling to get your business on feet. So I think a lot of black people don't want to take that risk as well. Again, it's because white people can easily get themselves out of. White people can afford to be in debt, and they know the system, so they know how to write off that debt. And also because of this, they're able to kind of find themselves another role where they can pay off. They can kind of take that chance again. Whereas the black people, it's not the same. It's almost like we're given 2 chances at gambling, and if we blow those 2 chances, that's it. Whereas white people, because of this, it's almost less unlimited, and that's why some of them can do crazy things, and they can come around your house and say, yeah man, I got a debt for 50,000, I don't even worry about it, it'll be written off in 3 years, or I'll have that paid and all of that, because the opportunities are there for them. It's not there for us, and I think that's why we need each other. That's why we need each other even more. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay true to yourselves. You can, if you're thinking of a business out there, it is possible. It is possible, especially if you've got a team of say 3 or 4 people that you know you can trust. It's possible. I think it's harder when we're doing it by ourselves. It's a tough one because black on black businesses to me just means that the black person owns the business. Doesn't mean that you can't have white employees, and I think Tyson Fury needs to understand that as well. Doesn't mean that you can't have white employees. It just means that we're supporting the head of the business. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that we're going to have a black shop with strictly black workers in it. It just means that, you know, the black people own these businesses. That's how I look at it. Okay. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care. I will see you around for another video. I think it will be called, if it's not think and appreciate, it will be learn to think this time. We done learn to listen, now it's learn to think. Thank you for watching. Peace out.